Hello and welcome to our video. We are the Einstein Lab Group 39. Me and my groupmates will present to you the parallel plate capacitor. Now in your screen you will see the names of my groupmates and their roles on this video. Now for the diagram that was made by Miss Julian Los Santos. Now for the procedure role, Mr. Josh Firmeza will be responsible for this.
Good day, sir. I am Josh Firmeza, and I was assigned to do the procedure in our group. So before we proceed to the pet simulator application, I would like to share my screen first. So the first thing that the group should do is to open their Canvas account and look for physics in the courses and click for modules and then look for the pet simulator and click it to open. Once clicked, wait for it to be fully loaded. And then you will see capacitance and light bulb. Click for light bulb and then you will see a parallel plate capacitor on your screen. And then a voltmeter. This voltmeter has electrodes. And you will place the electrode over here and over over here. So in each table, there are different data that should be gathered. In table number 1, where the distance is held constant, the group members should discuss if what distance will they be using in the whole experiment. After the group has decided, move the plates. Move the plates together, closer to each other or away from each other until they will reach the distance that was discussed by the group. Note the area of plates should be in increasing manner from trials 1 to 5. Same goes in table number 2, which the area is plate which the area of plate is held constant. Also, the group members should decide if what area of plate will they be using in the whole experiment. After the group has decided, expand the plate area until zoom out or zoom in until they reach the decided measurement. Note that the distance of separation should be in an increasing manner from trials 1 to 5. After encoding on the simulator the discussed measurements by the group, same procedure will be followed by both tables. So set the voltage in the capacitor low or in the voltage of the battery and you increase it. You can either move the voltage up since you cannot reverse the direction, then you may reverse the direction of the voltage or the battery. Take note that you may increase the zero to up. And lastly, record the data gathered in capacitance and charge in plate. Capacitance and top plate charge for you to determine the data that you are looking for. And that's all for the procedure. Thank you very much.
Now for the discussion role, Mr. Kyle Aldrich Tambis will be responsible for this.
In this experiment, we were tasked to determine the effects of the voltage of the battery, area of separation of the plates of the value of the charge, and capacitance in a parallel plate capacitor. We have learned that parallel plate capacitor consists of two metal plates separated by an insulator. To charge this capacitor, it can be connected to a battery so that one plate becomes short of electrons and the other plate gains electrons. After charging, an electric field is formed between the plates. Capacitors are placed in a parallel to provide a higher level of capability. To provide an accurate value that might otherwise not be available. To determine the effects of the voltage of the battery, area of separation of the plates to the value of the charge and capacitance, we use the PET simulator.
And now for the observation will be presented by Miss Julian de Los Santos.
I'm Julian de Los Santos, and I'm about to tell you our observations in doing our activity. So in table 1, with a 0.45 voltage battery and the distance of separation being held constant, the area of plate, charge in the plate, and value of the capacitance are increasing throughout the 5 trials. While in table B, with 1.2 voltage battery and the area of plate being held constant, the results in the distance of separation are increasing, but the charge in the plate and the value of the capacitance are decreasing throughout the 5 trials. And in doing this, we should be careful in using our simulator.
And now for the analysis, Mr. Rafael Dava will be presenting this to us.
Based on our data observations, we were able to come up with 4 analyses. 1. If the distance of separation of two plates is constant and as the area of plate increases, there is an apparent increase in the values of charge and its capacitance. In the first table, if the area of plates is increased by 20 mm squared per trial, this results in the apparent increase in value and charge and its capacitance value. 2. If the distance of separation of plates is in increasing manner while its area of plate remains constant, then the values of charges and its capacitance decreases. In the second table with a different voltage value, the area is constant. As the varied distance between the two plates goes farther by 2 mm in each trial, the value of the charge and capacitance value is seen to decrease. It is apparent that the further the plates are between each other, regardless of the area of each plate, the values of the charge and its capacitance value seem to decrease depending on the area of two plates. And if we have the right voltage, then the bulb's light would last longer with wide plates close to each other. Stop.
If closely observed, the differences between the first and the second tables are apparent, as seen in the values sorted by colors. The former values increasing and the latter decreasing. The mean values of the charge, on the other hand, are seen to have significant differences. For example, the mean values of the capacitance of the first table are not too far from each other, having a 15 pF difference. In the latter table, the distance of the mean value exceeds 50. Same is applied to the charge values between the former and the latter tables.
Now for the conclusion, Mr. Andre Relano and Mika Fantilanan will show it to us now.
I'm Andre Relano and I was assigned to do the task in conclusion. The main objective of this laboratory experiment is to determine the effects of the voltage of the battery, area of separations of the plates to the value of the charge, and capacitance in parallel plate capacitor. After conducting the experiment, the conclusion is such that the objective of the experiment is achieved and the results are also verifying the theory which states that when the area of the plate is increased, the capacitance is increased. Now, Mr. Fantilanan will continue discussing the conclusion.
Based on our data observation and analysis, therefore, we conclude that the capacitor depends on the area of plates and the distance between the two parallel plates of the capacitor. We also conclude that the area of plates is directly proportional to the value of the capacitance. When the area of plates increase, the value of the capacitance also increase. And lastly, if we have the right voltage with the plates close to each other, the bulb will last longer.
As we completed our tables, we were able to make our discussions, observations, analysis, and conclusion.
Ms. De Los Santos completed our table and mentioned 3 observations in which she explains the relationship of the values of charges and capacitance to the area and distance of plates. She also mentioned that in using the simulator, we should be careful so that we will be able to acquire the exact value. As for our analysis, Mr. Dava tackled the relationship of variables and what make the two sets of data different. For our discussions, Mr. Tambis highlighted the meaning of parallel plates capacitance and how we are able to determine the effects of voltage of battery, area of separation of plates to the value of the charges and capacitance. And as for our conclusion, we mentioned 3 which we acquired based on our gathered data, observations, and analysis. As mentioned in our previous presentation, I am the validator of this group. I am a Diestro. I validate their works and correct, which means all of their answers were validated and corrected by myself. I did my job as it should be, so again, I believe that my role is significant and needed, and my members could testify. So again, have a good day and thank you for listening.